Welcome to another very powerful, very beautiful YouTube video in the preserve. Brother, in this moment I can feel the energy, but I kind of forgot the title.
This is focusing on what's important. All right, it's a little follow-up to our last lesson, as most of these lessons will be. They kind of go in a bit of a sequential order. Last time we talked about love as a unifying force and just really touching on this journey that we are all on. And now it's time to really hone in on your values and even more importantly, doing the most important thing, which is to figure out what is most important to you, so that you have that North Star. Because, you know, Johnny and I, we've had this conversation off the camera before we started here of the different elements of, you know, what he's seeing around his ecosystem and around this nature preserve, and just the different forces. I mean, we're recording this on election day, so just these different forces of the duality of the light and the dark. And it can become so easy to get fixated on one side of things. And so often when we don't have a lot of clarity on what is important to us and what is our highest value, what is essentially the light that is guiding us, if we don't clarify that, it's easy to become fixated on the darkness. And again, it's not like a right, wrong, good or bad, but there is a power in what you focus on, because what you focus on grows. So even if you're focusing on the shit that you don't like to see, whether that's within yourself or what you perceive as outside of yourself, what do you think is going to continue to grow? That's why you may find yourself repeating the same kinds of situations over and over again in your life. And that's a very key teaching tool for you if you have the courage to look at that, whether it's the same kind of financial situation, the same kind of relationship situation, the same kind of career situation. When you find yourself in these cycles, that's your opportunity to look at the mirror and ask yourself, okay, what am I not seeing within myself that is being then projected out to me? But again, instead of focusing on what you don't want to see, you can choose your focus, because regardless of what's going on in the world, the one power that you will always retain is you get to choose what you focus on. You have the free will to choose what you focus on. So you get to choose what is the most important thing to you. And when you clarify that, now you have some place to really pour your energy into. And like I already said, what you focus on grows. So I'm curious for you, my buddy, my Brody, Juanito de Natural, your experience in this kind of time that we are in right here and right now. I know you've had many powerful experiences recently, so I'm curious what's coming through for you as it pertains to really clarifying what is important in your world, and then ultimately being able to create ways to continuously pour your intention, pour your attention into that to see it grow.
Yes. Wow. There's a lot there, and there's a lot to share right now, my brother. As I'm looking, y'all can't see, but a pure test of focusing on what purely the heart wants to focus on. You know, always seeing the land with a deep lens, and seeing invasive species taking over ecosystems, seeing what the land used to be. There's a lot of attention that goes in a lot of places, and like we said, what you focus on grows. And I can't lie, y'all, there's been an energy that is very, very powerful in this drive to change everything. But that drive, that fire that was in me was focusing on a whole lot. Things that seem like need focusing, but was it the right way? Was I feeding truly the light in my heart and my spirit, or was I feeding the darkness? And as I deeply had to learn that, as you know, I look behind my house that is being destroyed, and there's many things I can focus on. There can be anger that I focus on. There can be pain that I focus on. But truly, I began focusing on, well, what's the thing that's actually going to change it? What's the thing that's truly going to heal it for the better? And as I truly began understanding, going back to Mexico, going to Ohio, in these moments with some powerful teachers, as they've showed me, it's love. what is love? Just focus on love. And then in your life, well, what does love truly look like? Because what you focus on grows. And I could focus on the pain and the anger and destruction, but if I focus on that, that's going to grow, and there's going to be more of that. There's only one way to truly transform that in the world is love. Is to transform the hearts of these people is going to be love. That's the only way for them to see a deeper side of this. So now as I see when I'm out in nature, and it can be very stressful, as I'm seeing the landscape, I'm seeing invasive plants, and usually, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I focus on that, and I feed that, and I'm angry. Now, I focus on the light. And what does that mean? That doesn't mean now I go out in nature and I just turn the blind eye to the invasives. Oh no. I acknowledge it, I see it, I feel it, but I focus on the light, which means a native that is thriving, because that is what I want to grow. That is where my energy wants to go. And that has transformed everything. Because getting very clear on truly where your energy is going to the change you want to see in the world, and fueling that through your heart, because love is the only way. It's the only way. The darkness can be very decisive and might deceive you, but love truly is the only way. Even the people that you're very angry at, love is the only way, and I choose to focus on love. So now, like you asked, how do I daily try and ground to that energy? Is, for me, going back to many of the lessons, it's kind of the morning. It's getting my space. It's being in my energy. It's getting out in nature very early and sitting and feeling into my heart, because it is a daily practice of deepening and remembering that love is the way. We have to feed the light right now. Being angry at this and that is feeding the darkness. Again, we're not turning a blind eye at the things that need changing at all. But it's finally giving the light the fuel that it needs, the love that it needs to truly transform the energy it needs. And it is. And now, honestly, by truly sitting with the love, I've softened. I've softened because, like I've said, y'all, there was this fire. There was this fucking drive to change the world. I'm still going to change the world. But that fire, y'all, was going to consume me, and I was going to burn myself, and I was going to destroy myself. But now, just like the Avatar can't just be a firebender, and he's the ultimate firebender, but bro hasn't even acknowledged his waterbending. Hell, he hasn't even really looked at earthbending, so I'm learning to understand and balance myself out. And honestly, love, focusing, one thing, there it is, then unfolds all of the other things that needed focusing. And it's beautiful, and it's very important. Love is the way, I'm going to say it like that. And I'll let you now flow, because I'm sure there's stuff that you want to say on that.
Hey.
But, I mean, you know.
All we need is love.
All we need is love.
All we need is love.
We also had a little micro to
Watch out,
honor to the Medicina Sagrada, the Holy Children, the psilocybin sacred mushroom, in a very pure intention time. And it just feels right to be in the preserve, to have a video here, and just to flow. It's getting dark. As you can see, Brother John's kind of flowing right now.
Yeah, he's flowing, baby. Hey, bro.
It's what we're here on, because we're focusing on
the love.
The love.
The love. The light intensifies the love, and the love intensifies the light, because the love is the light that guides the way, because love is a unifying force, my friends. And so when you focus on love as that important thing, it unifies all of these different elements. The light and the dark are unified through the process of love, because you recognize that one cannot exist without the other. And there is this unifying force where you can, you know, in my opinion, true spiritual evolution is being able to hold the opposites as one. Because we're not always just one thing or the other. The world isn't always just one way or another way. It's both and. It's all of it together. And usually the things that we label as dark are the exact shadow elements that we project out onto what we perceive as the outside world. So then giving that the light too, giving that the love too. And again, when there's like a light and a dark duality, but then there's also just light of awareness, kind of this unifying force that transcends and includes all the opposites. And this is where, you know, language can get a little tricky sometimes. We don't always have words to describe what is essentially wordless, indescribable. But what I want to do to close this out, to come full circle here, I want to give you something practical. okay? Because you're going to see how this is going to unfold as we continue to progress these lessons. So one thing that you can do to really identify what is important, and again, it is this process of love, because we really just need to identify, what do you love to do, and start to pour your energy into that. Because oftentimes we mistake what is important with what is urgent in life. And if we don't clarify what's important, then the things that we are just reacting to in life, they become more and more urgent, and they feel important, but they're not actually important. They're just in our face because we're reacting to them, and they're just urgent. But when we identify what is important by just identifying, what am I actually here to do? What do I love to do? So what you can do, and this is a very simple exercise, just write a list, get a piece of paper, maybe set a timer for 5-10 minutes just to give yourself just a little container to just flow, and just make a list of all the things that you love to do. You know, maybe that's being out in nature, going for walks, training, going for a bike ride, painting, gardening, creating music, cooking, like literally anything and everything. You know, we've talked about your possibility, your potential, it's all there, anything and everything. Create a list, and then once you have that big long list, see if you can go back and circle the things that are like, and you can do kind of a little bit of a reverse thinking exercise in which you ask yourself, if I didn't do these things, these particular things, nothing else would matter. So it's like you're trying to distill that big list down into the least amount of things possible that encompass the most possible. And I call these like your highest leverage action items, which are ultimately going to become your key processes here. So stay with me. So you got your big list, you go through and circle the things that are the most important, and see if you can get it down to just like 3 or 4 things. And I challenge you, because I'm sure if you really kind of sit with it, you will find there's a very key few things that if you just focus on those key few things as the most important things, all the other things will find a way to take care of themselves. Like for me, for instance, if I focus on training, I'm going to bed on time. I'm making sure I have my meal prep. I'm eating quality food because I want to maximize the training because it's important to me. Same thing with music. Same thing with just designing my life, like taking time to just sit down and design and journal, and then also taking time to teach, like this. And then once you do that, see if you can just get specific of, okay, if I say training, specifically what is that for me? And for me personally, it's training 5 times per week. So something specific, tangible, and measurable that you can somebody can witness it, you can check it off a box, and that is your key process. And now if you do that exercise, you're gonna be in a good place going into this next lesson, because we're gonna start talking about life types. We're gonna start building out this whole process, because Force for Nature, we're all about marrying the internal and the external, because as you learn to love everything that you perceive as outside of yourself, and especially getting in touch with nature, you start to see that reflected back in you. And as you learn to heal and to honor and to love all the different pieces within yourself, it makes it easier and more natural to be in touch with your true nature within nature itself, as you are one with, an extension of the awareness of nature becoming aware of herself. So that is my offering today, and
thank you.
I thank you, and just so much gratitude for continuing this journey.
Yes.
We've come so far, and yet it just continuously feels like we are only just beginning. And I'm so excited to continue this journey with my brother Johnny, with our Mother Nature,
likewise,
with all of our other brothers and sisters all over the world and the earth and everywhere.
We're all in this together, y'all. We're all in this together. The time is now.
Time is now.
Time is now, and love is the way. Love is the answer. Be in your heart. And don't be afraid to face what you know you need to face. And give love even into the darkest parts of yourself that you think love is the last thing that it could be. But it's love. And love it. Even though it's so painful, you're so mad at it, so much anger. Love it. Right, Mother? Mother says, just love it.
Have the courage to face the fears that allow for your grace. That is the message of the day.
We will see y'all soon.
Blessings.
Let's keep it flowing.